This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids.
What up, everybody? This your boy Blak, and I'm going to talk about something I didn't think I'd talk about for a good while now, and that is Destiny. Those who know me know that I was a huge Destiny player, and I kind of fell off, I would say, about 8 months into Destiny 2's cycle. Not because I hate the game, or because I thought it was trash, blah, 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 like all these people like to say. I just grew out of it, I guess. I don't know. Started to do more single player games and things like that and alternate, and just it fell out of my rotation. And I haven't gone back. But some interesting news came up today as Bungie outlined everything going forward, starting with Season 8, which will start in September of this year, September 17th. To be exact, as they announced a new expansion pack called Shadowkeep, which is going to bring back some old familiar places, in particular the moon. You will be able to travel to the moon yet again to face a new threat. And then they announced the roadmap for Destiny going forward. Destiny 2 is going to be revamped into something called Destiny New Light, which will be a free-to-play game. It will be available on all platforms, including Stadia once it comes out, and it will be available on Steam. So without Activision being their publisher, and Bungie being an independent studio, they have procured a deal with Steam. So I'm sure a lot of people will like that, because Steam is, generally speaking, the largest distributor for PC games that's out right now. People love Steam to death. You know, it's that familiar old hat, and that's where Bungie is going to, so that'll draw a lot of attention to players, definitely on PC. So they also mentioned that if you do start on the free-to-play game, you will start out in the Cosmodrome, so you will kind of start out like you did in Destiny 1 and progress from there, which I found very, very interesting. I think this is kind of going towards what Bungie always wanted, and they mentioned it during their live stream. They kind of hinted towards the fact that now that they're no longer with Activision, actually, let's be fair, they took shots at the whole situation with Activision, saying how now they can go about and do things the way that they kind of wanted to, instead of, you know, following someone else's agenda, going with someone else's commercial plan for financial success and trying to, like, you know, make money off of this and that. You know, pretty much Activision was doing what most major publishers do these days, and they were pimping out a studio to get as much money as possible out of them. They had them on the stroll, and now that, you know, Bungie's in effect gone independent and dropped their pimp, so to speak, they're moving forward with something that they feel like will be more beneficial to their player base, and to people who might have wanted to get into Destiny but have heard bad things about it over the years, or just didn't find certain things that were done appealing and whatnot. They're trying to kind of rectify that. So with New Light, of course, you're starting this Cosmodrome, but you'll be able to play with your friends who are well advanced in different areas of Destiny, as New Light's going to cover everything up until Forsaken. Basically, it'll be all free, so you'll get like the first 2 DLC packs, and content from that, and everything. Pretty much everything within the first year of Destiny 2 is going to be available. They're re-adding some multiplayer modes. People are excited because Trials is supposed to be coming back, which was a huge thing on Destiny 1. Especially if you were a like competitive Destiny player, you love the fuck out of Trials. So you're gonna get that, and they're gonna bring back some of the other older modes and make them available. Gambit will be available to everybody, so I thought that was pretty damn interesting. That Gambit, which is a part of I believe Forsaken, is gonna be something that they're gonna just throw into the regular mix for people. So that's pretty cool. And they're doing other things, you know, revamping mods and stuff like that, all types of things to like kind of tweak the game as usual, and try to improve gameplay, new weapons, things like that. So going forward, it seems like they have a pretty interesting and solid plan. They seem to try to be making amends for the things that they got shit for while they were under Activision, which is good, which may lead to sort of a revolution, so to speak, with these studios, because look at places like EA where they've absorbed studios like BioWare, and look at the trouble that BioWare is going through, and then look at pre-BioWare before they became a part of EA and the standards that they set when they were independent. Pretty much, even with successes like Mass Effect and Dragon Age, with EA publishing them, BioWare's had some trouble, you know, troubling times. And even those two series that I mentioned had run into some like interesting drama due to decisions made from higher ups with those games and how they were developed and things like that. I really hope that this all works out well for Bungie, because I always thought they were a solid studio. It always weirded me out that as soon as they said that they were leaving Microsoft, that they jumped right back into another type of relationship with a publisher that was extremely controlling. It was like they left the horrible ex who used to kind of like treat them bad to go with a similar type ex. You know, it's like they just kept repeating the cycle. And now that they're pretty much independent, it seems like they're trying to break that cycle, which I think is really good. Now, that's not to say that I think, well, I have my issues with Microsoft, but the relationship with Bungie was definitely, you know, it's not necessarily indicative of how their relationship has been with every studio that they've owned or worked with, but it was kind of funny how, like, being their first major studio coming out when the first Xbox dropped and dropping Halo, that they were kind of just like, you know, in similar ways, which why I find it odd that Bungie went with Activision. They were kind of like Infinity Ward with the Call of Duty games and things like that, like them and Treyarch. Like, you're just here to feed our system with our flagship franchise and nothing more. And Bungie was like, yo, we don't want to keep doing this, we want to do something new. And they got out of the contract with Microsoft. They was like, yeah, we got a fresh start, we're gonna do this game Destiny that we really want to do. And then they got with Activision to publish it and all that, and thinking, yeah, we got this 10-year roadmap and we have all these things like planned and blah blah blah. And then Activision was just like, yeah, you have a roadmap, but it's our roadmap and we're going to do things this way. And it's like, fuck, back in the same situation, you know, no real freedom of creativity. But now they have that. And it's funny because you can tell, like, this whole the whole stream that they did was generally just, the whole vibe and theme was, yo, we're doing things the way we want to do. We're taking chances. We're coming with new ideas. They would show people like working on certain elements, talking about different guns and things like that they're working on and things that they're going to try. Like, they actually showed a couple of developers playing around tweaking gun stuff, like, oh, it's doing this, man, maybe we want to change it. They, you know, it may have been all manufactured, but it was definitely giving the vibe that, hey, we're out here just trying to like take chances, do things differently, and hopefully do a great job of creating this work, building on this world and things like that. You know, they're gonna let everybody do the free roam so people can go around and run around the world together, in all aspects. They're trying to probably get to what they wanted this game to be, and it's gonna be interesting to see what their vision is. Like, again, being with Activision, you and looking at this whole stream, you get the sense that what they have done since, what, 2014, hadn't been really what they wanted to do. And now they seem to have the attitude that we're going to do what the fuck we want and try to make the best game possible for our fan base. And hey, we'll see how it goes. You know, wish them all the luck in the world and all success, because they were always a really good studio prior to Microsoft. Even, you know, like, a lot of people don't know that, but you know, I'm hoping for good things for Bungie. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, as always, you guys feel free to hit me up. Let me know what you're thinking. I'll haunt you later. This your boy Blak, making it. I'm out. Deuces.